We find ourselves at times of crisis, and crisis can take things into a new direction.
The young ones are running faster, but the older ones knows the shortcut. So
fight for it like it was your own life.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to day 2 of Global Citizen Now.
It's called Global Citizen because we are all in this together.
It's really important to have these conversations.
Understanding the urgency. It is now.
We need to do this differently if we expect the outcome to be different.
Me standing up here like this right now, today, who I am with all you people knowing me, is progress.
I wonder what the world would be like if we just had predominantly female leaders.
You have to be able to take a punch. You got to be able to throw a punch for the children.
Oh my God!
She dropped the mic.
Yes, she did. That was a look at the inaugural Global Citizen Now Summit, which this week gathered more than 200 speakers from across a variety of fields. I led a panel at the event with the president of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, who has a leading role right now in uniting the world against Russian aggression, a big job that has come later in life, in her 60s. Also featured at the summit, as you saw, was House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who you saw on Morning Joe this morning. Two of the most powerful women in the world, both, by the way, well over the age of 50. It all ties into the work at Know Your Value and Forbes, particularly the 50 over 50 initiative, recognizing women hitting their stride in their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond. Let's bring in Chief Content Officer of Forbes Media and editor of Forbes, Randall Lane, because we're getting ready for the next set of 50 over 50 lists.
I was at Global Citizen Now for both days. It was electric, but your panel with Ursula von der Leyen, it was electric.
She's amazing.
It wasn't just that older women were represented; they were the stars. And so Gloria Steinem threw out more knowledge at 88. So incredibly, it was just panelist after panelist, amazing.
And in terms of the women we're recognizing on these lists, because nominations are now open for the 50 over 50, the second annual U.S. 50 over 50 list. Of course, we're going to have the Asia list, Europe, Middle East, and Africa following that because we've immediately gone global. But nominations are over for the second U.S. 50 over 50 list. How much time do we have? Yeah. Who should nominate someone or themselves?
That's right. And we're open until August 1st.
August 1st.
Make sure, again, to make it as inclusive. And that's right. Women don't have to wait for somebody else to nominate them. I think that is very important to get as many people. We want to hear it's okay to nominate yourself. And we want this. Listen, we have people around the world looking for amazing women, but we don't want it to be just if we find you. We want to hear, because we're creating a real community, and we're creating a kind of a community of change makers, and it requires people to step up and raise their own hand.
And what's so great is that all the women on these lists go to the annual summit on and around International Women's Day that started this year. I'm going to have another one next year. It's an annual event in Abu Dhabi. And Katty Kay's with us. Katty, I'd love talking to you about this, because when we started this, we were so surprised. We were like, oh boy, how many submissions are we going to get? 10,000 actually was the answer to that question. And the real realization is that these women are here. There's so many of them. We've literally arrived.
Yeah, and one of the things I love about this whole concept, Mika, is something that you've said that I hadn't really thought of in that way, is that the runway is so long. And that's great for women over 50, but also what I like is that it's great for women who are younger, right? Because you remember what it was like in our 20s and 30s, and we spent our whole time running and running and running, thinking we only had this tiny little window, and if we didn't get it all done by the age of 40, we were basically never going to have a career and never have any success in life. And I love this idea that you can carry on way beyond the age of 50, because I think that sends such a positive message. You can take time, you can breathe, you can moderate your pace a little bit in those years when you're younger. Randall, one of the things I wanted to ask about the global initiative that you've launched, Women in the Middle East and Europe, Women in Asia as well. Do you see a common denomination between those women who are winning the nominations around the world? Is there something global that you can point to that makes for incredibly successful women who are later in life?
It's a great question, and it boils down to drive. What you see, no matter whether it's nonprofit, for-profit, obviously at Forbes, we're always looking for entrepreneurs, and so we encourage entrepreneurs to apply. But it's the idea that nobody tells you no, that you don't wait for somebody else to validate you, that if the door is closed, you cut your own door. And that's what we're seeing time and time again. And this list is full of women, especially older women who in earlier generations, it was even harder. It's still hard, but it was even harder, who said, you know what? I know what I'm doing, and I'm going to go and I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to manifest it, whether or not somebody else gives it to me. So we're looking for self-starters. We're looking for people who take the initiative and don't let anything stop them.
And what's to Katie's point, this is an incredible message for younger women, and that's why our summit on International Women's Day in Abu Dhabi is called the 30-50 Summit. We have our 30 under 30 lists with the 50 over 50 lists from around the world coming together and mentoring each other. Nominations are officially open for the next annual U.S. 50 over 50 list. This year's list is open to women whose residence or work is primarily based in the U.S., born on or before December 31st, 1971. No lying up about your age. That actually happened. Nominations are open until August 1st, but sooner you submit, the better. Head to Forbes.com to nominate someone today or nominate yourself. Chief Content Officer of Forbes Media and editor of Forbes, Randall Lane, thank you very, very much.